Welcome, college basketball fans, to the Full Court Press Podcast with LT and Sammy D. This is the podcast that brings you legendary stories from college basketball's golden era and dives in deep with a current analysis of today's game. Get ready for the most energetic and entertaining college basketball podcast around. Let's get it.
Hello and welcome to another Full Court Press Podcast, a college basketball experience. Luke Taylor here, and I find like our best interviews are when Sam is not here, but that's a bad joke. I love Sam and he knows that, but Sam could not join us today, but we got a really great guest. But before I introduce this, the Donald, he's simply known as the Donald. Did some research on him back in his days as a Seton Hall point guard. They called him the Donald, the original the Donald. But don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review, follow us, like us, YouTube, Twitter, all that other stuff, Apple Podcasts. So we've got Wagner College, the Seahawks head coach, Donald Copeland. Welcome to the Full Court Press Podcast.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's I don't even know where to start. I mean, Jersey City. So you're from Jersey City. I mean, give me one word to describe Jersey City, because here's the thing. We were at the Final Four for the first year, and there was a guy named Danny Hurley. You might know that family just a little bit. And there's some sort of swagger about Jersey City. Like there's just about Jersey. There's just a swagger.
The word I would probably use
what
is
is
probably gritty. That's what probably the city is known for. Coming from there, different than a lot of other places, right? But similar at the same time, especially that metropolitan area with being so close to New York. But Jersey City is a special place, man. Tight-knit, close family-like, inner city for sure. You got to be tough, definitely coming from there. So gritty is probably the word I would use to describe it.
Yeah. We were fortunate to actually interview after the national championship your high school coach, Bobby. Coach Hurley Sr. And just a really well-spoken, just a very quiet. But was he kind of like his sons when he coached? Like, was he kind of like just, I don't want to say a maniac, but was he pretty intense?
Yeah, I don't know what version you got of him. Quiet is probably not the word I would use to describe Coach Hurley. But no, he's very intense, very demanding, probably one of the most demanding people you'll meet. Definitely one of the most demanding people I've had in my life. But no, he's a big time influence, not just for myself, but the city in a whole, and a lot of people who have gone on past him to have all types of life opportunities. He had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I didn't realize this, but St. Anthony's closed in 2017. I mean, you want to talk about a storied high school basketball program. I mean, everybody knows about St. Anthony's.
Yeah, no, it definitely. Historically known for sure. Growing up in Jersey City, if you wanted to be a basketball player, you had no choice but to go to St. Anthony's. If you wanted to excel in basketball, and then the success over the years, not just locally, but I think nationally, speaks to what Coach Hurley was able to accomplish. And then obviously with it closing down, I think times have changed. It's one of the many, I think, smaller Catholic schools that I think closed, but definitely was a difficult time. But so many great memories with the people there, not just the coaches, the basketball players, the administrators, the teachers. It really was a special place.
Yeah, for sure. So you're at Wagner College, the Seahawks, and I want to bring up their most notable alumni. Who would you say is their most notable alumni? I'll tell you who it is in my eyes, but who would you say in your eyes?
Ooh, that's a good one. A guy I know who's a really good player here, Terrence Bailey. I think he's the all-time leading scorer here.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong as
Safe
far as
answer.
a notable guy, but that's the guy I remember.
Molly Burnett, Days of Our Lives, and Queen
Okay.
of the South. And I know you used to watch soap operas when you were in college. You know what?
My grandmother did when I was about six or 7 years old. So she probably would have. She's passed now, but she definitely would have known her.
Yeah, it's funny because when I was in college, a little bit older than you, in the mid to late 90s, I felt like all the athletes, because you had that window from class to practice, and it was like 1 o'clock. Okay, after lunch, you had that 1 o'clock to like 2:15, and I swear to God, you would go down the hall and all you'd hear is damn soap operas going on at 1 o'clock. And these are all big, athletic guys and stuff like that. But so you guys had kind of an interesting season. You finished 17-16. The year before, you're 15-13. What amazes me, okay, first time since 1999 in the Northeast Conference that a seed was rated as high as you guys, won 3 straight road games. And what's amazing me, I want to know what you either said to them or what you fed them before that conference tournament. Because if you look at who you played, Sacred Heart, you lost by 10 at home. Central Connecticut State, you lost to them by 1 twice, both in New Britain and then obviously at home. And then the crazy one was Merrimack. You lost by 16 at home and lost by 6 at Merrimack. Like, what did you say to him? I mean, that's an epic run.
What I said to him, I probably can't say right
Oh,
now.
come on. No one listens or watches anyway.
But no, I think we have a strong culture in place, and I think amidst everything going on, we just really tried to squeeze the most out of each day. Each day was fulfilling. We competed each day. The energy had to be good each day, and that's the only thing we could control. I think it was unideal what we were going through with the injuries that we had, but we never let it seep into the program. Feeling down or the energy or anything like that. And I think that was a big part of actually giving us a chance to compete for a championship. And I think that showed when it mattered most.
Yeah. And then you won in the first 4. How was that experience for you guys in Dayton?
That was great. That was a phenomenal experience for these guys, to play in that atmosphere in Dayton, sellout crowd. Dayton does a good job each year of just hosting that. They get so much support from the community there. And then obviously being the first game to start off the tournament. Really was proud of the guys, the way they came out to compete. We felt ready. We felt like, we can compete on that stage. And I think it showed. We played well enough to win the school's first NCAA tournament game.
Yeah. So you were a gritty player, good shooter, uh, very effective, great defense. I mean, I watched, it was kind of funny. I knew your college coach. I used to work the Syracuse University basketball camps. So Coach Orr, really nice guy. I don't know how much he used to win off Coach Boeheim. They used to play poker at night, all the coaches, and there'd be this wads of cash, and there'd be, there'd be other stuff, subs and kegs of beer for the camp counselors. But how different is how you play and how you coach?
It's different in some ways and similar. You know, I always did feel I was somewhat of a cerebral player. My scoring ability as a point guard probably was my strongest point. But I think as a coach, you probably have to see more of the total package, which I think that is the point guard in me, being able to see a lot of things. But similar, I was an intense person. I was an intense player. I'm an intense coach. I think, you got to be able to play hard. You got to be able to play tough for me, because those are the things that I just kind of grew up naturally being around, coming from playing Jersey City, as a youth, and then playing at St. Anthony's, that's how you learned the game was, playing really hard and playing tough. So I kind of coached that way. So, I think for me, I have to stick to who I am, and that's what I'm most comfortable with.
Right. So on the Hurley intensity meter, what would you be out of 10?
Oof, man, as a coach,
Well, you tell me.
yeah, as a coach, I'm probably a 15, because I'm just nonstop energetic
Did
and
you say
passionate.
16?
15,
Oh,
15. I won't be
15. Wow. Okay.
happy. No, I'm very passionate. I'm very, energetic in practice. Practice is really fast paced. There's always high intensity. I have a saying in the program: a quiet gym is a losing gym. So there's always, the gym has to be loud. There's a lot of communication. But that's generated from me, myself, as a coach. You're never going to see me monotone. I'm in an all out sweat every practice. So, I expect that from the players as well.
Yeah. Who needs to exercise, right? If you're at our age, if you're going to be like that in practice.
Yeah, no, I tell you what, coaches have to be my assistant coaches are in tip-top shape also, so,
Yeah. So you're saying I could lose weight coming to your practices, but not even playing. But
yeah, yeah, no, it'd be a good workout for
yeah,
sure.
absolutely. So after starting at Seton Hall for 4 years, you're second team All Big East. Then you spent 9 years in Europe and Puerto Rico. How was that experience going from Jersey City, Seton Hall, East Orange to different? I mean, to have to compete pretty much every game, right?
No, I mean, that was a blessing, man. Basketball is such a special thing, a special part of my life, man. And it was able to take me to places I've never imagined, never knew about, learn different um, countries, their cultures, right? And then the basketball, being able to compete at some of the highest levels around the world. I couldn't ask for anything else. I know I didn't get a chance to play in the NBA, and that was okay for me. To be able to experience that, it helped me grow as a person, as a man, as a father, a brother, a son, all these things. I really, really took a lot out of the experience. And I kind of carry that with me today and who I am and also how I coach. So I'm forever grateful for that experience.
And it's obviously a benefit in recruiting that, a lot of these kids, everybody wants to play pro, and not everybody's going to make the NBA, as you know. Okay.
Yeah.
But having yourself and then Coach Rogers, who spent some time overseas too, I mean, that's got to be a huge selling point to teach these guys and let these guys know. I mean, this is not so long ago that you were playing overseas. It's got to be a huge selling point because everybody wants to play pro ball. I mean, Jeff McGinnis, is going to coach me up to play in the Canadian Professional Basketball League at 48 and being overweight.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something that these guys know they gravitate to. Not just recruits, the players I do have. So there's always questions, there's always dialogue about what it is to be a pro. And one of the things I kind of talk to them about, being a pro isn't necessarily just showing up and practicing and playing in a professional game. It's actually a lifestyle. So the time you actually wake up, you're a pro. You're never not being a pro. How you eat, how you sleep, who you're around, your circle of people, how you carry yourself, these things kind of go into the performance and being able to survive as a pro, especially traveling the world. Because, I've played with teammates that didn't necessarily speak English and I didn't speak their language, right? We still have to kind of figure that out and work through that to be successful. So it's definitely something I talk to these guys about. I kind of run the program that way as far as being a professional. And not just saying you're professional, but live like a professional. So I think the way I do it and my playing experience kind of translates into coaching right now in my program.
Yeah. Tell me about some of the crowds in Europe
Oh man.
or Puerto Rico for that matter.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I've played in sold out crowds where they have thousands and thousands of people standing and chanting the entire game, holding giant flags across the fans. I've played in I just remember a time in Serbia, playing in their famous arena, them throwing coins at you, as an opposing opponent, nothing like it. Really, really passionate for sure. And then Puerto Rico is probably one of the most passionate places I've played for. They really, really love basketball. As well as the Philippines. I actually played a season in the Philippines, which was quite an experience, which that's their biggest sport. They love basketball so much. So that was always the fun part about playing in these places, the fans, the experience, how it's different than what it is here. We have fanatics here for sure, but they're, outside of the country, they're really extreme, which can be fun.
I mean, let's be honest, none of this would happen at Madison Square Gardens, would it?
No, 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 wouldn't. You'd
I mean,
be, no,
can you
would not.
imagine people standing up and chant the whole game? They'd be like, "Get him out of here. Get him."
Yeah, no, no, it's different, but it was fun, man. I love that part of it. It kind of excited me. I liked going and playing in other opposing teams arenas and being, having the crowd against you. But no, that stuff was always fun.
So you played overseas for 9 seasons. You became a graduate assistant at Wagner. You got your MBA from Wagner, so congratulations.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
then you were an assistant at Wagner. Then you went to Seton Hall for a year, which I'm still head scratching why Kevin Willard left for Maryland, but that's another story. He still hasn't gotten back to us. But why Wagner? Why'd you come back to Wagner?
Why
They
not?
asked,
I mean,
right? They
I
asked. I mean, that's the first. Who said that to? We asked like why so and so. He's like, well, they asked.
No, I think I think for me, it was a no-brainer. For when I was transitioning my life, and I tell people this, from being a professional athlete, that's hard. That's really hard. You're playing every day, you live a certain way. Being able to get this opportunity at Wagner, Staten Island's very close to Jersey City, so I'm blessed that I was able to come home in the area I grew up in and get my start at Wagner as a coach. Get my master's. Transition the next phase of my life. And Wagner became my school just as much as Seton Hall and St. Anthony's. Such a comfortability, the success I had here as an assistant. When they called me about this opportunity, I jumped at it, because if there was going to be a time for me to get an opportunity, I feel fortunate enough that it's at a place like Wagner where there's comfortability for me, for sure. I coached at this level. I understand the level. I understand this place. I felt it was a good place for me to kind of get my start as a head coach, and because I know these opportunities are difficult to come by. So I looked at it as a fortunate opportunity for me to get a start. And, I'm just grateful that we were able to have the success that we've had. And I'm hoping that we can continue it.
Yeah, and I really like the staff you put together. You've really got that East Coast flavor. You have Coach Jones, who's very well regarded in Baltimore, especially at St. Francis Academy. Coach Rogers obviously oversees pro. Coach Lynch, he was there at Seton Hall for 9 years, director of basketball operations. Obviously, you know him personally. And then Malik Booth, who was a New York City high school ball player, played at Little St. John's, a school that you probably love dearly from being from Seton Hall. But I really like your emphasis on the East Coast. I mean, there's so much talent on the East Coast, obviously. I mean, let's be honest. If Jesus Christ played college basketball, he would have been from the East Coast. He would have been a point guard. He would have probably played at the Big East. So was that kind of like your emphasis coming in, really focusing on the East Coast with recruiting and putting your coaching staff together?
Uh, I can't say that the emphasis of that, because we do have players from actually a lot of different places and backgrounds. But just as far as putting together the staff, you want to put good people around you, and good people, good high character people. That's very important to me, and getting to know all of them. Um, I think Coach Kev Jones is the only person I didn't have a previous relationship with. Just taking the time to get to know him, just the character piece for me was so big. I mean, he kind of fit that along with the rest of my staff, and I think also another thing that's helpful. I'm 40 years old, so I'm relatively young. I kind of wanted to put together a relatively young staff that's relatable and also has the energy to be able to coach and run the day to day how I like to run it, because it's very high energy, it's very demanding, it's very intense. So that piece was very important for me. So I think I kind of got lucky. I hit it out of the park with the kind of guys I have, because I wouldn't be able to accomplish, right? We wouldn't be able to accomplish this without those guys.
Right. So, just signed a contract extension for 5 years. We talked a little bit off air about the current, status of college basketball, much different than last summer between your first and second year with the transfer portal, NIL. How's your team shaping up? How does your team look this year compared to like last year and years past?
Well, in comparison to last year, I have more than 7 right now. So that's not a that's rare for me to see. I kind of got to figure out what to do with these guys. But the team's trying.
No more 3-on-3 in practice.
Yeah, it was. I had to get real creative. Hopefully, I don't have to go through that again. But we had 6 guys out last year that are now back or potentially could be back for this year. So there's a lot of turnover, which is a good thing. You want continuity within your program. I returned 9 players um, to a championship roster, and now that in itself, I think, is a good thing for what we have going on, especially in today's world where the transfer era
But how did
is
you do that with NIL and the transfer portal to bring back that many players? I mean, you see teams, and we've had them on the podcast, where they've had like one person come back, zero. I
right.
mean, DePaul with Chris Holtman, a different story, new coach, 13 new players.
Right. You know what? A lot of it, man. We've never got really crushed by transfers over the past years here. We've been able to retain a good core guys each year. Now, will that continue? That remains to be seen. But I think, the relatability with the players. I have really strong relationships with these players and their families. I know that doesn't necessarily always mean as much. now today, but I try to be as transparent as possible as where they fit in the program, and then also where I see their careers going. Um, Not in the immediate future, but also 5 to 10 years from now. Which I think they like to hear, and try to understand how to get that and achieve those goals. Everybody wants to play pro, right? Um, what does the next 5 to 10 years look like if you make this decision? You kind of weigh the pros and cons. The other side of that, I did have 6 guys out for the season. So, I don't know that them transferring would have kind of been ideal. But that's okay too. I have good kids that want to be here. They're on me about making sure we have summer workouts. So a lot of kids sometimes probably don't want to come up for summer now, whether they wanted to or not. We were having summer workouts, but they wanted to be here. So
Anybody that stuck out in summer workouts? Anybody that's kind of surprised you in summer workouts? That's a Sam question. I'm going to ask you some Sam questions now because he would ask that.
right, right. Javier Esquerra, and this kind of started last year, mid-year. He took a jump and just taking hold of the program. And that's really carried over right now. My starting point guard, who probably won't wow you with talent, and probably won't wow you with the stat sheet, but he's a guy, man. He hasn't missed a practice for me. He hasn't missed a workout for me since I took the job. He hasn't missed anything we've been a part of. He runs my team. Last year, he led us in minutes. He also guarded the other team's best player, perimeter player, no matter the size. And then now he's just really taken hold of the program right now, the way a senior point guard leader should, I think. So I can't say that's surprising, but that's definitely been glaring. And then also, we have Keontae Lewis, who finally was able to put together a full summer due to some injuries in the past. He's definitely taken a jump and really established himself as a veteran guy in the program. So, and then everybody else who's, trying to been transitioning from those injuries, have just kind of hit the ground running. So that's been good to see.
Yeah. Do you have much international flair in your roster due to the fact that you and Coach Rogers played over in Europe and Puerto Rico for so long?
Yeah, we have, well, Javi is from Puerto Rico, originally. We've had some other international players. I've had some Canadian players in the program. Um, I'm
Wonderful
trying to think.
kids, very well mannered, wonderful
Yes,
kids. You know,
yes, yes. Great
I'm
kids, high
I'm
character.
Canadian, so I'm Canadian. So what can I say?
You're biased. Okay, okay. Yeah, so no, and then I have a lot of kids who have some Puerto Rican heritage, which have gone on to play professionally in Puerto Rico, as well as Europe or whatnot. So that's where the connections kind of help, because I still am in tune with, like, some GMs and coaches that coach in Europe or whatnot. So they follow the program closely. So that also helps as well.
Yeah. So how difficult? Because I know one of the things coaches have talked to us a number of times is scheduling. How difficult has scheduling been for you guys as a mid major?
Well, it's so difficult. I'm still not done, and it's July 29th.
Isn't that crazy though when you think about that?
No, and I used to handle scheduling when I was an assistant, so I understand it. It's one of the hardest things to do in the profession, especially, I guess, when I think teams are expecting you to kind of be good. I won't allow myself to think that's it, because I like to have a chip, but it's difficult. It's difficult. So hopefully we can finish it up pretty soon, because I'd like to go on vacation.
What I guess what is the big holdup with scheduling? Is it just people just kind of waiting to see what their roster is going to look like? I mean,
Yeah, I think a lot that has a lot to do with it. We've had some success in our non-conference. I think
Mhm.
the last 3 years in a row, we've either finished 500 or above 500 in our non-conference schedule, which is not likely at our level. And
Right.
then we've also won some marquee games. We've beaten UConn in the past. We've beaten St. Bonaventure. We've beaten Temple. We've taken some
Teams.
other teams down to the wire. So I understand it from that aspect. The hesitation, but hopefully we'll be able to finalize some things and kind of move forward and play somebody.
So you're saying Coach Hurley's scared of you at UConn now since you've beaten him?
No, I don't think he's scared of me. Our game, we haven't really crossed paths as far as games, uh, come forth. And I think he's got other issues he's probably concerned with, I'm sure, trying to three-peat.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be kind of interesting to just look down the sidelines and see one of the Hurley boys and then just realizing you played for their old man and just seeing kind of their
Yeah, yeah,
mannerisms and stuff like
yeah.
that, their body language and stuff like that?
For sure, for sure. And I think, I know them well. They've obviously known me since I was a little kid, because we're all from Jersey City coming up. So possibly one day, you never know. Our paths could cross on the court.
Yeah. Well, good luck with the scheduling so you can actually go on a vacation. I don't know what a vacation is to a college basketball coach
Yeah, I
anymore
know.
because with the summer workouts, and then I mean, we had a tough time getting guests this summer, which is surprising because here's the problem. It's like, there was 63 or 64 new head coaching uh, jobs. So you got to think 63, 64 guys potentially had to move their families. It was just crazy. But we do this section called the full court press, or not the full court press. We are the full court press. Oh my God. The shot clock. It's never fast. It's never quick. Sam usually does the intros. So very easy questions. Have some fun. And a couple of these questions are developed by Sam. So since he's here in spirit, I'm going to ask the first one. What is your spirit animal?
Spirit animal, lion.
Yeah, I like that. One word to describe Jersey City.
Gritty.
Yeah, I already asked you that shit. I need some more medication. Give me your starting five players. If you had to put together a team today, you can be on it. Who's your starting five from your past or current?
Now, this is like guys I've played with, or
Jersey City or Seton Hall?
oh man, Jersey City or Seton Hall. Wow. Phew. Myself,
What position would you play, Donald?
a guard. I played with two other point guards in high school, so I mean,
Did you really?
yeah, yeah, yeah. We were really good. I probably would play. Oof, man, putting me on the spot here. Myself, Dwayne Lee, Jersey City guy, St. Anthony's guy. He's assistant coach at George Washington. Bashir Mason. Um, these are guys I also grew up playing with since I was 8 years old. um, Jerry Walker. Uh, I guess that's three. And four. Oof, man. Obi Wadike. He was my forward in high school. He wound up going to Central Connecticut and getting 1,000 points and 1,000 rebounds. Yeah, yeah. So those are guys. Some names guys probably may not know, but those I'll take them anywhere in the country.
Yeah, nice. So there's your five. Biggest trash talker.
That I've played against or no, probably
Yeah,
Jerry Walker. Jerry Walker.
really?
Jerry still talks now.
Is anybody listening bar from Jerry?
Yeah, no, that's Jerry's personality though. That's part of why he was good and why he's successful now. He knows how to talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Give me some of his famous sayings. Do you have any that you could say?
Man, I can't pinpoint anything, but I know what Jerry Walker is one of those people that when he's in a room, everybody knows he's there. He has one of those giant personalities, man, that everyone gravitates to. And he's also been a big part of my life as well.
Okay. Favorite player to guard? Who was the guy that you love guarding because you knew you could just own him, like you owned him every time?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I shut down a lot of people. I can't pinpoint anybody.
Great answer. You shut down a lot of people.
did I did I did.
Who was the big guy you had to guard when you were playing in the Big East?
Man, I've had to guard. Oof. We've played against Ben Gordon. I mean, he was Player of the Year, I think. We've guarded Marcus Williams was 6'3".
Oh God, yeah. Marcus Williams is a ball player.
Chris Quinn, who was at Notre
Yep.
Dame back then. Um, McNamara, Jerry, who's
Yep.
congratulations to him being the head coach of Siena.
Yep.
There's just so many phenomenal guys I was able to play against. The guy I probably shut down, I'll tell you this jokingly, in high school, we played DeJuan Wagner, and he was averaging 48 points. I held him to 32, so I still joke with him. I joke with him about that. So yeah, I guess that's the guy shut down, so to speak.
People don't realize, especially this younger generation. I mean, this is obviously his son's a great basketball player, but people don't realize how good that family is in basketball.
Oh man, yeah, one of the great families. I mean, his father was an all-time great. Dewan was an all-time great. Now his son, to see the legacy that family is able to have, you know, especially in Jersey, which has such rich basketball tradition. I think that's special. So, definitely happy for that.
Yeah, I was at the Kentucky Oakland game, and before the day before, I asked him who's the best player in his family. Couldn't answer, which I said, well, who would play? I think he said Grandpa was the best, just to be respectful. But what would you say was your most memorable college basketball game?
Oof. I think it had to be. I think this is also the selflessness in me. My sophomore year, when we were able to beat Arizona in the first round of the NCAA tournament, um, that team was loaded with NBA players, man, and we probably, although I think we were the higher seed, we were probably the underdogs. Just how that game went, that was such a fun game to be a part of and win on that stage. They had Salim Stoudemire, Channing Frye, Hassan Adams, just I'm probably forgetting a bunch of guys. And we came back from being down 15 in the second half to pull out a big time win.
But that's what you should have at the NCAA tournament. I mean, it's March Madness is let's be honest, is the greatest
Yeah,
tournament, whatever. And even if they expand it to 196 teams, it'll still be the greatest 2-month tournament that you can be a part of, right?
for sure, absolutely.
Funniest recruiting story, either as a player or as a coach.
um, I once had a parent request White Castle as a meal, which I thought was pretty funny. I still joke about it now. Of all the things you could kind of pick that you want to eat, I had a parent request White Castles, so I'll say that.
You're all right. I have a $300 budget for this meal. You just pocketed 200. So,
Yeah, no, no, for sure.
every time I sometimes get the White Castle chicken sliders. You get them.
Yeah,
Every time I eat those, I don't eat them much. I'll think of that story because that's a funny story. Did you get the kid?
we did not. That was me as an assistant, so I did not. We got the White Castles. We did not get the kid.
Well, winning in one part. Song that best describes you. What's your anthem? What's your come out song?
Um, Jay-Z, I did it my way.
Yeah. You got to come on, man. You got to have an East Coast hip hop legend in Jay-Z. That's great.
Absolutely. I'm a big Jay-Z guy.
Okay, so they're making a Hollywood movie about your life. What would the title of the movie be called?
These are good questions here, man. You guys are good. Oh man. Whoo. I don't know. Uh I don't know. This is something I've never actually thought about. Um
Everyday Hustle.
that's a good one. I would take that.
Great song too.
Yeah, I would take that. I would take that. I mean, I feel like my life is an everyday hustle for sure. So no, I can use that one for sure.
How about Jersey City?
I would take that. I would take that. I'm a big Jersey City guy. Everybody, everywhere I've been, everyone knows about Jersey City from me.
Yeah, yeah. So Samuel was asked the last question. I'm gonna, in honor of him, ask this question. So we like to give you the kind of the platform for the last minute or two, kind of just to shout out the Wagner fans, alumni, boosters. What can they expect this year from the Seahawks?
No, I think a team that's hungrier now more than ever, and that's probably hard to say considering we are known for playing hard and being hungry. You know, I've always said Wagner has a great basketball tradition that comes from the support of the school, the administrators, the student body, and then also the alumni here. Last year was special. We're not satisfied for sure. We realized we got to kind of get better. We don't take anything for granted. So it's not like we're walking into this saying, hey, we're going to win another championship. We have to do a lot of things to hopefully position ourselves. And that's how we approach it every single day. I say it all the time. This league is very tough. There's a lot of good coaches in this league. I think from the amount of transfers from this league shows the talent in here that's actually here for sure. So they're going to expect a team that's going to play very hard each possession and compete every game as they always do.
Yeah. Awesome. We'll be cheering for you. We'll be watching. Just going to stick with us one more second. I can't wait for Sam to be back next week. I do miss him, even though I give him a hard time, and I'm very sarcastic, as my mother would say, which really pisses her off as a traditional British woman, but the show will go on. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review, and also check out the Wagner College Seahawks and Coach Copeland as they try to repeat as back-to-back NEAC or Northeast Conference champions. And we'll be back next week on the Full Court Press Podcast, a college basketball experience.